Hi, everybody. Joe Cioffi here. Weather in 5 days in 5 minutes. Don't forget tonight, the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast is live at 7:35 p.m. Eastern Time. As far as adverse weather is concerned, there's not a whole lot happening. When I say adverse, I mean uh, weather that's enough to start putting up watches and warnings all over the place. And you can see there's nothing up and down the eastern seaboard. We do have heat advisories and excessive heat warnings in the Mississippi River Valley back into the plain states. We're going to see this area blossom a bit in the next couple of days as the heat builds in this part of the country and eventually shifts over into the west. We also have some flood watches up in parts of southeastern Iowa into northwestern Illinois. And we have some red flag warnings for some wildfire risk up in parts of the central and northern Rockies, as well as patchy dense fog in the interior areas of the Pacific Northwest. We have this upper low and surface low that is sitting just south of Long Island and southeastern New England that's spinning away. We saw this evolving over the weekend, and it has pushed back clouds and some patches of rain westward from southeastern New England back to about New York City and even into parts of New Jersey and the Hudson Valley. It's not raining everywhere. In some places, you might get the heavier downpour. In other places, you'll just have some light rain or drizzle around. And this is going to be hanging around for much of today before it finally starts to move up to the northeast. So clouds are going to be an issue. It's going to help to hold the temperatures down somewhat, although inland areas probably stand a better chance of seeing higher temperatures than the coast. And overall, this week, we're looking at very warm and humid conditions, and there'll be opportunities for some showers and thunderstorms along the way. Although, again, it doesn't rain all the time. We've got some stronger storms this morning moving out of Iowa and into Illinois and Missouri. You see the lightning strikes here on the satellite loop, and also a few other lightning strikes going on in parts of the Central Plain states. The West is very quiet. The Southeast is mostly on the quiet side. We do have that activity on the radar. Just give this a quick refresh here as of 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And we've got rain in southeastern and southern New England. You can see some of the yellow echoes here indicating perhaps some heavier downpours. A band is pushed back into the Catskills with some heavier downpours there and even into northeastern Pennsylvania. Seeing a lighter band here in northern New Jersey, down to parts of the Jersey Shore. And you see the rotation as well from this for low and surface low that are again going to move that in tandem will move to the northeast. This is not a tropical system, by the way. We have some showers in the central Appalachians down into parts of the Carolinas. The rest of the southeastern Florida is on the dry side. This area of heavy downpours and thunderstorms moving through Illinois and parts of Missouri. We even have the odd severe thunderstorm a warning that pops up along with the occasional flash flood warning there. And we actually have some rain that's coming into the coast of the Pacific Northwest. Storm Prediction Center for today, slight risk areas from Kentucky to southern Indiana and into southern Illinois. We also have a small area of marginal risk for central and southern New Jersey into eastern Maryland and Delaware. So we could see an isolated severe thunderstorm pop up there, and a slight risk also in southern portions of North Dakota through South Dakota and into north central Nebraska. The two areas, the one in the Ohio Valley and the other one in the plains, both coming with 2% tornado risk. Tomorrow, marginal risk from the Carolinas northwestward up into the Dakotas, with a slight risk indicated for Iowa and Illinois. And the tornado risk here is 2% in the upper Midwest. And day three, and this is Wednesday into Thursday, we're seeing a slight risk in southwest Minnesota, eastern South Dakota, northwestern Iowa, marginal risks that pushes across the lower lakes and over into western Pennsylvania. Rainfall over the next 7 days. Again, this is going to be thunderstorm dependent, so some areas are going to get more, some are going to get less. We're looking at anywhere from 3/4 of an inch to an inch and a half in the northeast and northern mid-Atlantic states, back into the Ohio Valley, and also through parts of the southeast and in areas in southern Florida. Rainfall amounts diminish quite a bit as you head into the west, although we do see continued thunderstorm risk and maybe some heavier rains in parts of the southern Rockies, and also seeing some slightly heavier precip up in the Pacific Northwest, but we're talking only about 3/4 of an inch to an inch and a quarter in a very small area there in northwestern Washington State. And with respect to flash flooding, we'll give this a look from WPC. Today, we've got a marginal to slight risk from the Florida Panhandle northwestward through the lower lakes. A slight risk implies 15 to 40% chance for some localized flash flooding. On day two, the risk runs up the Appalachians and extends into northeastern Pennsylvania, northwest New Jersey, and southern New York. This is going to be due to any kind of thunderstorm activity we get during the afternoon and evening hours. And then for day three being Wednesday into Thursday, marginal risk in the interior areas of the Northeast, marginal risk from North Carolina northwestward up into the upper Mississippi Valley, where a slight risk is being indicated for southern Minnesota into Iowa, Illinois, southern Wisconsin, northwestern Indiana, and eastern South Dakota. So, as far as how things play out this week, it's going to be a very warm and a very humid week. Our low in the east weakens and moves northward. So, we'll see weather conditions improve very slowly as we go through the rest of today and tonight, although there still will be some rain around. And then for the next few days, it's warm and humid conditions. We have these ripples, these upper troughs that'll be moving through, and they could set off some thunderstorms, especially in inland areas later Tuesday into Tuesday night, and then probably again later Wednesday into Wednesday evening. Looks like the emphasis on Wednesday is more in upstate New York and New England. Then Thursday and Friday. Thursday doesn't look like we're going to get much. Friday also doesn't look like we'll get much in the way of any scattered showers or thunderstorms. They'll start to pick up though late in the day Friday, and then perhaps on Saturday as a cold front tries to come by. Also note that the European model and some of the other models are a little less suggestive, but the European model continues to show a system now in the tropical Atlantic will eventually organize perhaps into a tropical storm, and it seems like it wants to bring something up off the Florida East Coast and along the southeast coast of the United States later in the weekend and for the early part of next week. I would say that the if this is down the road. We've got a long ways to go with this, and we don't even know whether this system is going to develop. As we check out the satellite loop, you can see the disturbed weather that is at issue is this area of cloud cover that we are showing. Let me just update this loop a bit here, but it's all about this area of cloud cover that is very disorganized. It's just sort of sitting out there. There's not a whole lot to it at this point. Also note that we do have strong southwest winds in the Caribbean into the southwest Atlantic, and that's creating shear conditions. We have an upper low that is moving across the Atlantic that's creating some shear conditions in the eastern portion of the tropical Atlantic. But there's a zone here in the middle where conditions are going to become somewhat conducive for tropical cyclone development as this system takes a track west to west northwest over the next several days. And we'll be monitoring it for signs of development going forward. So be sure to check out tonight's Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast. We'll be live at 7:35 p.m. Eastern Time.